5K points from Inverse Sabbath School. Lesson 3. Remember not to forget. Genesis chapter 12 from 1 to 9. Point number 1. Memory aid. Today we set alarms so we don't forget important events. In Genesis, they also didn't want to forget historical milestones, important secrets, or different knowledge. So, in addition to songs and hieroglyphics, they also had altar construction. If one or more people saw an altar, they knew that a powerful encounter with God had taken place there. A special consecration symbolized by the altar. Point number 2. Beyond faith. Abram was 75 years old, a stage where most people tend to slow down and rest. At that age, God spoke to Abram and gave him a promise and a mission. Leave your land, and I will make you a great nation. You will be a blessing. Abram, not knowing what awaited him in Canaan or how he would survive, accepted the call and began the long journey. Point number 3. What it represents for Abram. When Abram arrived in Canaan, God appeared again to tell him that all of Canaan will be given to his descendants. The lesson says that Abram was moved and built the first altar. The altar embodied commitment and devotion. He knew that only God could be his daily sustenance, his guide, his counselor, and his protector, even though he was a foreigner. Point number 4. The number of altars. The second altar was built quickly after the first. Abram sought a close, intimate relationship with God. Throughout the process, there will be difficulties like the Canaanites, but he always had to remember that God was with him. Another altar he built was to remember the peace God established during times of disputes and disagreements with Lot. And the most famous, the altar to Isaac, reminding us that until the last second God can provide what is needed for those who trust in Him. Point number 5. Commemorate God's goodness. We often follow God without thinking about the great wonders He has done along the way. A good way to remember His blessings is to perform a special act in His name, composing a song, cooking something different, or giving our testimony. Whenever we remember and thank God, we keep His promise and our devotion to Him alive. In conclusion, throughout our lives we have had clear encounters with God, a miracle, a goal achieved, a solution to a problem, the blessing of finding health or a job. The same God who helps us in that moment is the same God who accompanies us through the difficulties we face today. To keep our relationship with God alive, it's important to remember His promises. Can you recall every moment when God was extend His goodness in your life? What actions do you take to remember them? Thank you. It was 5K points to Inverse South School. See you next Friday. Thanks.